Hi everyone, welcome to a review of the FTX Bugster. This is the brushed motor one, so it's not super powerful. I think it's quite good for starters. This was my first ever RC car actually. Probably gathered from the title, I've owned this for nearly 3 years now, and I'll be honest, I kind of regret not saving up a little bit more money and buying something a little bit better, because it's got a few design faults, but we'll get onto that a bit later. Let's start with what's good about it first. So I think what's good about it is it's very, very lightweight, because obviously the components are quite thin, but I haven't really had any strength issues with that, to be honest. So yeah, that's all good, nice and light. Another upside is the electrics. I haven't had any problems with the electrics after 2-3 years, but I've driven it through shallow rivers, and so it's waterproof, but don't submerge it. The reason why I like the electrics is because it's just so basic and it's exposed, easy to get at. I've actually rebuilt this whole car. The electrics was really easy. I just basically just used double-sided sticky tape and cable ties and everything, and it's perfectly fine, so that's all good. So controller is, you might even recognise it if you're into RC, it's quite a popular one. I think it's perfectly responsive, no problems there. Fits in your hand nice, although I kind of want a slightly bigger wheel, but it's alright, you get used to that. And the antennae, shame it isn't just a fixed one. I like the opening and closing. So overall for controller, it's a win-win, it's alright. Perfectly good. Next point that's good about it is the body shell is strong enough. I wouldn't say it's super strong, you know, it's alright. I've cracked it a few times here and there, don't know if you can see. In fact, I've actually strengthened it with tape, because my friend drove into the back of it. But yeah, it's not like flimsy or anything, it's just about right. It could be a bit stronger, but I think it's alright. And it's quite cheap to replace as well, so yeah, not bad. Next thing that's good about it is the shock absorbers. Shock absorbers are really good, haven't had any issues, really nice damping, haven't even had to look at them really. Haven't had to put oil in or... yeah, so 3 years, shock absorbers, perfectly fine. Overall, the parts are fairly cheap to replace. I have had to replace some parts, which has been a downside. Let's talk about some downsides now. So... first thing is, these silver mudguards I put on aren't standard. I made them myself. Aluminium. Shame it doesn't have those as stock. It's just sort of a flat chassis, which seems a bit stupid to me because it's an off-road kind of style car. You would have thought there'd be some mudguards on there, but there isn't. And next point is a very big one. In fact, the only reason why I bought another RC car pretty much was grit likes to find its way into the gears. So it looks covered. Front and back differentials look covered, but grit always finds its way in there and completely ruins the gears. I'll actually show you what it does. Hang on. So here's what it has done to the spur and pinion gears. That's completely shiny, as you can see, which means it's just flat pretty much on there. And I suppose you don't really notice much difference with the pinion gear, but that's also mashed up. I've had to replace spur and pinion gears at least twice. So, I mean, you know, it's an off-road style car. You would have thought they would have at least tried to make it a bit better in that way, but yeah, just watch out for that. So the next one is the clutch tightness. The clutch in general, so yeah, that nut in there is to tighten the clutch. It's a bit of a pain because it's under this sort of spine of the RC car, if you like. So you have to take that out, which is a bit of a pain. And I've had it decide, well, it's decided to convert itself to two-wheel drive a few times. It also once decided to just loosen itself. Yeah, so clutch, not very good. Gears, not great. Sorry, gears, absolutely awful. And shame it doesn't have mudguards. Oh, by the way, don't know if you've seen my lawnmower video, but that hitch is on there to tow a lawnmower, so I'll leave that at the end of this video if you want to see that. But anyway, I think let's have a look at some driving footage, because that's always the best bit.
Call me whenever you feel lonely, and when you need to cry, I'll be by your side. Call me whenever you need someone, babe, and when you need to escape from 1,000 fires. I'm gonna kiss you wherever you are, and I'm gonna miss you, I will never lie. Call me whenever you need someone, babe. We're running in the jungle of love. I got you on my mind. You were stuck in my head and I don't know why. We got a billion races, we got this melody, and you can trust me, baby, we got everything. Call me whenever you feel alone, babe, and when you need to cry, I'll be by your side. Call me whenever you need someone, babe, and when you need to escape from 1,000 fires. I'm gonna kiss you wherever you are, and I'm gonna miss you, I will never lie. Call me whenever you need someone, babe.
So, as you can see from that footage, it's not the most powerful, it's quite noisy because it's a brushed motor, and because it has to take nickel metal hydrides, that weighs the car down, which kind of compensates for the fact that it's quite light. I was looking for a LiPo battery, but I couldn't find one with this kind of connector, so that was the end of that. So I'm just running it on nickel metal hydride 6S, and I think personally the level of power is perfect for beginners. You wouldn't want anything more. I mean, to start with, I thought this was fast because it was my first ever RC car, but you get hungry for more and more speed, especially when you upgrade to something like this, which is a brushless motor, and brushless motors are a lot faster. You can upgrade this to brushless, which will probably cost you around £60. You'd have to replace obviously the motor and all the electrics, but to be honest, I don't see the point in doing that because it's not strong enough to cope with the power. If you were to put brushless motor in there, I don't think it would cope with the power, because you'd want to do big jumps and it wouldn't cope with that. But obviously, like I said, it's got thin components, which is alright for me because I haven't done any massive jumps with it. So I'm guessing you're probably watching this review if you're thinking about buying this car, but if for some reason if you've already got this car, I recommend putting some expandable sealant down in there. I've seen people do that, just a little heads up there. So then, do I recommend this RC car? If you're a beginner and you just want to drive it in the street where there's no grit that can get into the gears, or maybe grass, maybe a bit of mud, I think that's okay. But if you want to use it properly, I wouldn't recommend it because I've just had such a nightmare with the gears. It's just not worth it, to be honest. And the clutch isn't that great either, like I said. It's kind of got a mind of its own, the clutch. And yeah, I think that'll bring us to the end of this video. Thanks a load for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, consider subscribing, browse the channel, all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one. RC, get it? Yeah, I'll see you then. By the way guys, stay tuned on this channel because of the grit issue, I'm hoping to make it into a street car and get some road tyres, which should be interesting. I'll hope to see you in that video.